Stand here, and don't move. We are about to watch history unfold. For nearly 2,000 years, this place has watched the world change. Today, we're going to watch it change too. Before millions of visitors stood in awe, before emperors entertained the Roman world, before the roar of 70,000 spectators echoed across the eternal city, there was only silence. It is the year 72 AD. We are standing in a broad valley between the Palatine, Esquiline, and Celian hills. Only a few years earlier, this land had been dominated by the lavish palace of Emperor Nero. Its artificial lake reflected marble halls and extravagant gardens, symbols of one man's excess. But history is changing. Emperor Vespasian has ordered the lake drained. In its place, he envisioned something entirely different, not a palace for one ruler, but a monument for the people of Rome. Surveyors carefully measure the earth. Engineers study the ground beneath their feet. Ox carts arrive carrying the first stone, timber, and tools. Nothing monumental stands here yet. And yet, everything is about to begin. For the next 2,000 years, this quiet valley will become one of the most recognizable places on Earth. Today, we witness its very first chapter. With the plans complete, the valley awakens with purpose. What was quiet ground only months before now echoes with the rhythm of disciplined labor. Thousands of workers arrive from every corner of the empire. Engineers, stonemasons, carpenters, blacksmiths, and laborers work together with remarkable precision. The first task is not to build upward, but downward. Deep trenches are carved into the earth to create foundations capable of supporting a structure unlike anything Rome has ever attempted. Massive blocks of travertine arrive from the quarries at Tivoli. Timber from distant forests is shaped into scaffolding, lifting frames, and temporary workshops. Every measurement is checked. Every stone is placed with intention. To those watching, it may appear to be little more than organized excavation. Yet beneath their feet, the future of the Roman Empire is already taking shape. Great monuments are rarely born in a single moment. They begin with foundations that few people ever remember. 2 years have passed since the first trenches were carved into this valley. What was once hidden beneath the earth now begins to rise into the Roman sky. Layer upon layer, precisely cut blocks of brilliant white travertine are lifted into place with astonishing accuracy. Giant timber cranes dominate the construction site, their wooden arms swinging gracefully as teams of workers haul massive stones using ropes, pulleys, and human determination. The first arches emerge, then another. Soon, an elegant rhythm of repeating arcades stretches across the growing structure, revealing the unmistakable identity of the amphitheater. Every arch is engineered to carry tremendous weight while distributing pressure evenly through the expanding framework. This is more than architecture. It is mathematics carved into stone. Rome is no longer imagining its greatest monument. Rome is watching it rise before its eyes. Year after year, the monument stretches higher toward the Roman sky. What began as trenches carved into soft earth has become a masterpiece of engineering and ambition. Skilled craftsmen shape thousands of blocks of brilliant travertine with astonishing precision, fitting each stone so perfectly that the structure seems to grow naturally from the land itself. The towering exterior now rises in graceful layers of arches, each level supporting the next through an elegant balance of mathematics, weight, and design. Inside, endless rows of seating expand around the vast arena floor, preparing to welcome tens of thousands of spectators. Miles of passageways, staircases, and hidden corridors quietly weave through the structure, allowing entire crowds to move with remarkable efficiency. Rome has never attempted anything this bold. As Emperor Vespasian's dream nears completion, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. The Colosseum is no longer simply being built. It is becoming immortal. At last. After 8 years of relentless labor, extraordinary engineering, and unwavering ambition, the impossible has become reality. It is the year 80 AD. As the first rays of morning sunlight strike the gleaming white travertine, thousands of Romans stream toward the greatest amphitheater their empire has ever seen. Merchants open their stalls. Senators arrive beneath richly embroidered banners. Soldiers stand proudly along the entrances. Families, craftsmen, traders, and travelers from distant provinces gather together, united by anticipation. Emperor Titus has declared 100 days of inaugural celebrations. The gates swing open. An endless river of humanity pours into the immense structure, disappearing beneath its towering arches and ascending through its carefully designed passageways. For the first time, every seat begins to fill. The voices of 70,000 people rise into one thunderous roar. In this moment, Rome is not merely opening a building. Rome is unveiling a symbol that will outlive the empire itself. Seasons become years. Years quietly become decades. The brilliant white stone that dazzled Rome on opening day now stands confidently at the center of an empire stretching across 3 continents. Every sunrise brings new crowds through its towering entrances. Citizens from distant provinces arrive speaking different languages, wearing different clothing, yet all stand beneath the same magnificent arches. Around the amphitheater, Rome flourishes. New roads are paved. Markets expand. Fountains sparkle beneath the Mediterranean sun. Temples, baths, and public squares transform the surrounding district into one of the busiest places in the known world. Emperors come and go. Children grow into old age. Yet the Colosseum remains the constant heartbeat of the eternal city. Its arches witness celebrations, ceremonies, public gatherings, and the everyday rhythm of Roman civilization. Stone by stone, year by year, history quietly settles into its walls. Nearly a century has passed since the first foundation stone was laid. Rome now stands at the height of its power. From the misty frontiers of Britannia to the deserts of North Africa, from the Atlantic Ocean to the distant provinces of the East, the empire is connected by thousands of miles of roads, aqueducts, ports, and cities. At its very center stands the Colosseum. No longer a marvel under construction, it has become part of everyday Roman life. Generations have grown up beneath its towering arches. Children who once watched its opening now return with grandchildren of their own. The bright white stone has softened into warm ivory beneath decades of Mediterranean sun, yet its beauty remains undiminished. Around it, Rome continues to flourish. New temples rise. Markets overflow. Fountains sparkle. The eternal city appears unstoppable. Yet history teaches us a quiet truth. No empire, however magnificent, remains unchanged forever. No civilization changes overnight. The Roman Empire still stretches across vast continents, and the Colosseum continues to stand proudly at the center of its capital. Yet beneath the appearance of strength, subtle fractures begin to emerge. Emperors now rule for shorter periods. Political rivalries grow more frequent. Frontier wars demand greater resources. The economy feels increasing pressure. Rome continues building, yet it also begins repairing. Skilled craftsmen replace weathered stone, reinforce aging arches, and maintain the magnificent amphitheater that has already become part of the city's identity. Most citizens hardly notice the gradual change. Life goes on. Children still laugh in the streets. Merchants still fill the markets. Travelers still marvel at the enormous arches. But history often whispers before it shouts. The first cracks are rarely found in stone. They begin within an empire itself. Empires rarely fall in a single day. They weaken one generation at a time. As the 4th century unfolds, Rome faces challenges unlike any it has known before. Emperors rise and fall with increasing speed. Civil wars divide the empire. Frontier invasions become more frequent. Precious resources that once built magnificent monuments are now spent defending distant borders. Even nature joins history's relentless march. Earthquakes shake the eternal city, damaging parts of the Colosseum and many surrounding buildings. Roman engineers respond as they always have, with remarkable skill, repairing fractured walls and reinforcing weakened arches. Yet each repair quietly tells the same story. The empire is no longer expanding. It is preserving what already exists. Then, in 476 AD, the last Western Roman emperor is deposed. The empire that built the Colosseum is gone. But the Colosseum remains. The empire has fallen. But life continues. Rome no longer rules the known world. Its emperors are gone. Its vast administration has disappeared. Yet beneath the towering arches of the Colosseum, ordinary people begin writing an entirely new chapter. The great amphitheater no longer echoes with the organized rhythms of imperial ceremonies. Instead, families seek shelter within its massive walls. Empty corridors become workshops. Storage rooms become homes. Gardens begin to grow where crowds once gathered. Shepherds lead animals through abandoned passageways. Children play among stones their grandparents once knew as symbols of imperial greatness. Nature quietly returns. Grass pushes between ancient paving stones. Birds nest high inside weathered arches. Without anyone realizing it, the Colosseum is transforming once again. No longer the heart of an empire. It is becoming part of a neighborhood. 3 centuries have now passed since the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Colosseum has entered another life entirely. Within its ancient walls, generations have been born who know nothing of emperors, gladiators, or imperial ceremonies. To them, these towering arches are not symbols of forgotten greatness. They are simply part of home. Stone chambers have become family houses. Small workshops line the old passageways. Gardens flourish where thousands of spectators once gathered. Vines slowly embrace weathered masonry, softening the sharp geometry of Roman engineering. Children race through corridors built centuries before their grandparents were born. Shepherds rest beneath enormous arches without knowing who first imagined them. The giant still watches over the city. It has lost its original purpose, but not its place in people's lives. Even in silence, the Colosseum continues serving Rome. The centuries continue their patient work. Wind, rain, sunlight, and time slowly reshape the greatest amphitheater ever built. Powerful earthquakes strike central Italy again and again, weakening walls that had stood for more than 1,000 years. Then comes another force, one born not of nature, but of human necessity. Medieval Rome is growing. New churches rise. Noble families build palaces. Bridges, monasteries, and homes require enormous quantities of strong stone. The Colosseum becomes an irresistible quarry, block by block, column by column. Massive sections of its brilliant travertine are carefully removed and carried across the city. The stone that once formed Rome's greatest monument begins building a new Rome. Yet even as pieces disappear, the giant refuses to fall. Scarred, weathered, forever changed, it still stands over the eternal city. For generations, the Colosseum had been seen as a convenient source of stone. But history has a remarkable way of changing how we see the past. As Europe enters the Renaissance, artists begin sketching its towering arches. Architects study its astonishing engineering. Scholars measure its proportions with admiration rather than chisels. Travelers journey across great distances simply to stand beneath walls built more than 1,000 years before. The wounded giant begins to inspire instead of provide. Then, in the 18th century, an extraordinary decision changes its future forever. Pope Benedict XIV declares the Colosseum a sacred place, believing that Christian martyrs had shed their blood within its walls. Stone removal is officially prohibited. What centuries of earthquakes and quarrying could not destroy, respect begins to protect. The Colosseum is no longer merely surviving history. It is becoming history itself. By the 18th century, the Colosseum is no longer viewed as a ruined quarry. It has become a priceless witness to human history. Across Europe, a growing fascination with the ancient world inspires scholars, artists, engineers, and explorers to document every surviving stone. Restoration replaces dismantling. Engineers strengthen weakened walls. Archaeologists carefully uncover forgotten passages buried beneath centuries of soil. The invention of photography allows millions to see the monument without ever visiting Rome. As Italy itself changes through revolution, unification, and modernization, the Colosseum remains the silent observer of every new chapter. It survives political upheaval, industrialization, and even the devastation of 2 world wars. Bombs fall across Europe. Cities burn. Yet the ancient amphitheater continues standing, scarred by time, protected by people, waiting for the modern world to rediscover its story. Nearly 2,000 years have passed. Empires have risen and fallen. Kings, popes, presidents, nations, and civilizations have all come and gone. Yet the Colosseum still stands. Today, millions of people from every corner of the world walk beneath the same towering arches first completed in the 1st century. Historians continue uncovering its secrets. Engineers continue protecting its future. Archaeologists continue revealing stories hidden beneath its foundations. It is no longer simply a Roman monument. It has become one of humanity's greatest surviving witnesses to history. Every weathered stone carries the memory of countless generations. Every arch reminds us that human ambition can create beauty capable of outliving the civilizations that built it. Time changed the Colosseum, but it never defeated it. And perhaps that is why nearly 2,000 years later, the world still looks up in wonder.
History isn't gone. It simply waits to be seen again.